All right, cool. I think we can start now. So yeah, welcome everyone. It's really nice to see everyone here. Let's get started. Yeah, so I'll be recording this session, so I'll share an email afterwards as well. So what we'll cover today is how to set up OpenClaw. Since a lot of people here are complete beginners, I'll also explain a little bit about what OpenClaw is. Number two is I'll go over some of the ways that you could set up OpenClaw with various LLMs, some of the AIs that are involved. If you're not sure what that means, I'll explain it. And then finally, I'll explain how to automate everything. I'll explain some of my tips that I have on how you can basically automate anything that you want to automate. Um, I like to keep these sessions a little bit more informal. So if anyone has a question, feel free to ask it. And just, yeah, feel free to interrupt me if something is not clear or if you have a question. All right, let's get started. So about me, my name is Ahmed. I'm currently based in the UAE in Dubai. I study computer engineering. I've been working in the marketing and the tech field for more than a decade. And the last 3 years, especially, I've been diving into AI. So yeah, so I guess let's just start. What is OpenClaw? Uh, who can tell me what OpenClaw is in the chat? What do you think OpenClaw is? I mean, why did you sign up for this session, I guess? Like, what do you think OpenClaw is? What do you think it can do? An open source AI agent. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, what all the noise is about. Yeah, that's true as well. It's like the hip thing. It's an automation tool. Yeah, that's all true. An AI agent to automate, yeah, to automate multiple task automation agents. Yeah, those are all true. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I were to summarize it just in one sentence, it's an open source automation tool. Um, yeah, what's the cost to run this stuff? Yeah, so I actually have a lot of slides talking about just that. What are the costs involved? Because even though it's open source, there are some costs involved with the LLMs that you'll use. So yeah, let me just give a quick rundown. So what OpenClaw is basically is it's an AI agent, number one, right? So I mean that basically just means that it's an AI that can interact with various other systems. So if you use like Chat GPT, for example, you're only interacting on that chat platform. But OpenClaw, what it does is it lets you do other things as well. So I could have it sign into my email. I could have it do a Google search for me. I could have it even make a phone call. I can have it do a lot of things that are not only tied with the AI. So the first thing is that you can actually give it like a personality. So I guess that's what people initially found attractive about it is that you can basically give it like a personality and have a chat with it on a normal yeah, like a normal chat platform. So I can integrate it with WhatsApp, with Telegram, and I can basically um, like give it a name, and then have a chat with it. So like that's the first thing that people found interesting about it is it's not just an AI that doesn't feel like it's personal. I can actually have a chat with it, and it uses the apps that people use on a daily basis. And I don't need to log in somewhere else. I can just have it on my phone, and I can start just chatting with the AI. So that's the first thing that I guess made it more popular is that it lives where you already are. Second thing is it can integrate with any LLM that you want. So it can integrate with Chat, GPT, with Claude, with any LLM that you want. And that basically means that it can use AI. So anything that you could do with AI, you can do it with OpenClaw. So that's the second benefit of it is that not only can you give it a personality and have a chat in the place that you already are, but also it can integrate with any LLM or any AI that you want. Um, Third thing is that it can basically log into accounts for you and can do stuff for you from like various services. So for example, you can have it log into your email. You can have it look at even files on your hard drive. I can have it do stuff for me. And that could be through my own account if I want to, or I could even make a new account for it. So for example, if I didn't want it to use my own email address or my own account, I could make a new email account for it and it can send its own emails on its own behalf. Yeah, so there's a question for WhatsApp, does it require something like Twilio? No, it doesn't actually, because it actually integrates with the WhatsApp API directly. For Twilio, if you have something where you're sending out mass messages, then you would need something like Twilio. But if you're just using it as a normal chat platform, then you wouldn't need that. So yeah, so like I said, so it can basically have its own accounts either on your own account or if you want, you could even give it its own logins as well. And what's also very powerful about it is it can do automations for you. So for example, you could tell it every morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, run a Google search on some topic and send me a summary of that. And what's powerful about that is it can do stuff for you on a regular basis. And some people actually turned it into employees or even like a personal assistant. So you could tell it, oh, like every morning run these tasks for me, or every evening do this thing, or every time I get an email, let me know about it, and then I can figure out what I want to do. So you can basically have it do automation for you. And since it has everything else that I mentioned already, like it integrates with your systems, it can integrate with AI, it makes it very powerful. What's also very powerful about it is it can learn new skills. So you can keep teaching it things. So you can tell it, okay, in the future, when you're writing an email, write it in this tone, for example. Or in the future, if you do a Google search for this thing, this is what I want you to look for. So what's powerful about that is you can give it knowledge. So for example, imagine that you have a company. You could basically have it understand what your company is. So like understand what you're selling, what the price points are, and it would basically, it can understand what your company is about and it can do stuff for you. So like you could just tell it, find me new clients. And since it already has knowledge of what your company is, it knows what a good client is. So like you don't have to explain to it every time, this is the kind of client that I'm looking for example. Yeah, so I mean, it basically is kind of a personal assistant. It could turn into that, and that's what some people do use it for. And I guess like for me, what I really also love about it is it can build things for you. And that's also maybe some of the focus that I'll cover in the session is you can automate things. So you can have it build things for you. So you could say, go build me an app or go build me a website, and it'll go and it'll build it for you. So those are just some of the things that OpenClaw um, can do. And what makes it so powerful as a tool is that it can work with LLMs, it can be automated, it can take control of accounts, it can learn and build new skills, it can build things for you. And like the best part of it is it lives where you already are. So it's already on your phone. So like you don't need to use some other tool for that. There's a question, does it build new memory each session? I mean, that's the powerful thing about it is it has short-term and long-term memory. So you can basically have your context and it understands it. So you don't have to, I mean, if it's set up, you don't have to remind it. Does it have its own LLM? Yeah, so I'll cover that a bit, but it integrates with existing LLMs. So I'll cover that in a bit. All right. So, I mean, here are just some of the examples of what OpenClaw is capable of. So it can do research, it can build apps and websites, it can do marketing for you, it can do sales for you. You can have it manage things. If you have any projects that you're working on, it can be a project manager for you. Or, if you want to, you could even have it be a personal assistant for you if you want to. So you can see that it's very powerful. It can do a lot of things. And I mean, one of the things that made it sort of like become more popular is number one, it has all of these things already built into it. So it's easy to set up in a convenient way. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel and build all this from scratch. I mean, all of the things that I mentioned before, you could have built it on your own, but it would have, I mean, it would have taken a very long time because all of those things take a lot of time. And there wasn't just like a one-stop shop that does everything for you. And then the other thing that makes it very powerful is that it has a community behind it. So there's thousands of people now, like, I mean, maybe even up to like 100,000 people by some estimates that are using this and they're building on it. So people are constantly finding new things that they can do with it. So um, what's nice is that it's open source as well. It's free. So people like they're building on top of it. They're learning new ways that they can use it. And it's very powerful, right? So that kind of is what makes it unique right now. Yeah, so then in terms of what it can do, let me just give you a couple of real examples of this that I personally used it for. So for example, doing research. So I set it up with an agent that finds jobs for me or finds roles for me, and it puts it in a spreadsheet every morning. So, if you're looking for a job or like you're looking for a project, it can do research for you and it can find projects for you automatically. And I mean, this doesn't have to only apply just to projects or to jobs. It can apply to anything. So you could say, okay, look for clients, look for news, it can do it, anything. It can post for you on social media automatically. So you can integrate it with any social media account like X or Facebook or Instagram, and it can post for you. And it can even make videos for you and make audio clips for you and make posts for you. I mean, so it can do everything. It can build websites for you. So you can tell it, go build this website for me, and it'll build it for you. And like you don't need like even need to do much. Like just um like chat with it back and forth and explain what you want, and it can do it for you. You can automate things. So for example, one thing that I did is I made an automated blog where it searches for a topic and it writes the article and it posts the article automatically. So I don't even have to do anything. So if you have a company website, for example, and you want to write articles for it, so you can build free traffic organically, you can set that up where it basically could make a blog for you, find articles, and post for you fully autonomously, and you don't have to do anything. You can teach it things like, for example, marketing skills. So you can say, okay, I want to run ads on Google search, for example, and it'll tell you what you need to do. It'll give you tips on your ad account. I mean, so there's so many things that it could do. And I mean, not just marketing skills, but any skill. You could teach it like virtually anything that someone could learn, and it could learn how to do it. You could also have it get you sales. So you could integrate with tools like Apollo, for example, where it can find leads for you. It can send them it could send them emails automatically. There's even tools that can have it make calls for you through like robocalling, for example. And even if you don't want to do that, I mean, if you still want to have someone that's a human make the call, it could at least find leads for you that then you could call later on. So yeah, it has so many things that you can do. And basically anything that you could do online on your laptop, OpenClaw could probably do it in some way. And I would say most things it could do at the level or even better than the average person. I mean, there are a lot of things, of course, that it still can't do yet that are more advanced, but if you think of normal things that a normal business needs, it can probably do it. There's a question, when a new version is released, do you need to reinstall it? No. So it still works even if there's a new version. Usually when there's an update, it's up to you if you want to upgrade or not. So, I mean, OpenClaw, since it's so popular, I think almost every day there's a new version coming out. I mean, at least a few times a week there's a new version. But all the changes that are made to it are not changes that would break anything for the most part. And it wouldn't break your setup if there's an update. Okay, so I mean, if you're someone that is a beginner, there's a few things that like I recommend. Since this is a powerful tool, there are some things that I recommend that you keep in mind. So the first thing is I wouldn't install this on your own device. So I wouldn't install it on your own laptop. And the reason is because since it's so powerful, people could use it as a backdoor to hack into you. So for example, like imagine that I gave it access to my laptop and then for some reason, I don't know, someone found a way that they could hack it and maybe I had something like on a personal level saved on my laptop, like maybe like my I, I don't know, like something from like I don't know, like a bank account, for example, right? Then it could find that, then they could hack me, or like maybe they could read into my emails, for example. So there's a lot of things that it could do as a backdoor. So I don't recommend that you install it on your own machine. And I'll show you in this in this session how you could install it on the cloud. So that's what I recommend for people is, especially if you're a beginner, don't install it on your own laptop. Install it on the cloud. And I'll show you how to do that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is especially if you're a beginner, I wouldn't integrate it with any of your personal accounts. So I wouldn't like connect it to my own personal email account or my phone number. I would make a new account for it. So if I wanted it to send emails, I would make a brand new email account and have it use that instead. And it's for the same reason that, like imagine I had like bank details in my email or something, right? I wouldn't want it to hack into it or like something to happen. Since it is a system that is very powerful, it could do a lot of things. So yeah, like I do recommend that you install it on the cloud. And there are some basic security things that you could do that I'll explain. Okay, so there's a few questions that I'll just answer before I continue. Um, can it iteratively build tools and use if not available? Yeah, so you could do that. So I'll explain how to do that in a minute, but you could tell it do something and like you could even tell it build it in a sandbox and use that instead if you wanted it to. So even if it doesn't have access to it, it could still build it. There's a question, if it gets hacked, then how is it MIT licensed? So MIT license is just an open source license. No one actually does a check from MIT on any code. So I could start a project and just say it's an MIT license project. That just means that it follows the specifications of MIT, which basically means that it's open source. So that's all that it means. It just means that it's open source. And it is available that you could get hacked with it, but number one is there's a lot of people that are using it, and if there is a vulnerability, people usually find a way that they could solve it. And I wouldn't say that it's really dangerous at this stage since it has been around for a while. But like I said, I still wouldn't install it on my own laptop just because it is so powerful that people could use it as a backdoor, for example. So yeah, if you can't install it on your own laptop, how can you install it? So one thing people do that you might have seen also is they would buy a brand new computer, like a Mac Mini, for example, and they would install it on that. You could do that, but that's a bit of an expensive way of doing it. Since a Mac Mini, even like the cheapest one might cost $500 or $1,000, right? Instead, what I would do is the way that I mentioned here, which is VPS, which is basically virtual private server, which basically just means that you install it in the cloud, which basically just means that I just set up an account online and I have it on a server somewhere else. And these servers are not expensive. They're only maybe $5 a month. So instead of buying a new computer for $500 or $1,000, I can just pay $5 a month and I get 99% of the same thing. Can it or some OpenClaw alternative run on Raspberry Pi? Yes, it can actually. I've seen people run OpenClaw on Raspberry Pi. Some of the capabilities wouldn't be as strong, but I think that you could set up a basic version on it. Another option is you could use a managed service. This is basically a service that someone else would set up for you, where they would also install it on the cloud. But in the end, it's the same thing as a VPS server where you would just install it on your own cloud environment. So one question people often have is, okay, so OpenClaw is free, but are there any, there's still some cost involved, right? That's true. So even though it's free, there are some things that you need to think about. So the first one is that Number one is if you're hosting it on the cloud, which is the way that I recommend, you have to pay for the hosting for that. So you have to set up some kind of hosting. And like I said, it's not that expensive. It's maybe $5 a month, but it's still a cost that you should think about. So that's the first cost involved. The second cost is I have to pay for the AI. So the AI itself, I have to pay for that, which it could vary. So you could pay, and that depends on how much I'm using of the AI. It could be as less as a few dollars, but if you're using it regularly, you would probably